in Bihar al-Anwar. Allama al-Majlisi rahimahullah cites the book Tafsir Furat ibn Ibrahim. And the narration is basically a dialogue between who? Rasulullah and Sayyidah Fatima sallallahu alayhi wa alihima. Imam Ali narrates it. If you want to hear what will happen on the Day of Judgment, if you want to hear this beautiful story that will truly make a believer cry out of happiness, then sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I'm going to somewhat summarize the story. I won't mention every single detail because the narration is quite lengthy. I'll summarize it and paraphrase it for you. The Imam says, one day Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi entered upon Fatima. And he found her grieving. She was sad. The Prophet told her, what makes you sad, O Fatima? She told him that she was remembering the Day of Judgment. And she was remembering certain calamities or hardships that people would face on that day. Imagine alZahraa alayha salam, who's infallible. She's remembering what? The Day of Judgment. And she's worried about that day. Although she's infallible. And she knows that she and her father, husband, and progeny will be in the highest levels of heaven. Heaven was created for them. Salamullahi alayhim. The universe was created for them. But even then she's worried about the Day of Judgment. There's a lesson here. For me. For you. For our lives. If the infallible is worried about that day, then we have to be worried as well. Then we have to be preparing ourselves well for that day. Rasulullah told her sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, he told her, O daughter, certainly it will be a great day. The Day of Judgment will be a great day. What's so great about it? Well, number one, as we said, several realities will be shown on that day. And number two, it will be a difficult day. Meaning in itself it's difficult. Will it be easy for some people? Yes. Those who prepare well for the Day of Judgment, they will find ease on that day. Those who adhere to Ahlul Bayt will find ease on that day. But in general, in itself, it is what? A day of hardship. It is a day of difficulty. Then he told her, however, again, Rasulullah is talking to Fatima salawatullah alayha. However, Jibreel alayhi salam has informed me that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. When he says Allah said, it means this narration is what? Hadith Qudsi. Allah ta'ala is informing Rasulullah about these events that you shall hear. Allah said that the first people whose graves will open on the Day of Judgment will be myself, Ibrahim al-Khalil alayhi salam, and Ali ibn Abi Talib salamullahi alayhi. Firstly, my grave will open. Then Ibrahim al-Khalil's grave will open. Then Ali ibn Abi Talib's grave will open. Meaning these will be the first three individuals who are resurrected on the Day of Judgment. Then Jibreel alayhi salam will come to your grave. Addressing who? alZahraa. And he will uphold 7 domes. 7 domes on top of your grave. Domes of light. And Israfil alayhi salam will come forth with 3 garments of light. Israfil alayhi salam will stand beside your grave, beside the portion of the grave in which Fatima's head should be found. And he will say, O Fatima, daughter of Muhammad, rise. Qumi ila mahsharik. Rise for the Day of Judgment, so you may be on that day wherever Allah wants you to be. He says, at that point, Ya Fatima, you will rise. You'll be resurrected. You'll come out of your grave. You will come out in a state of peace. You will not be afraid. Your body will be covered. And you will take the 3 garments from Israfil alayhi salam. Israfil will give you the 3 garments of light. Then what happens? Then an angel called Zuqa'il will come with a she-camel made out of light. Bear in mind, when the tradition says she-camel, possibly the Prophet really means there will be a she-camel made out of light. Or he means that some sort of means of transportation will be brought to Fatima alayha as-salatu was-salam. Nonetheless, he says, Zuqa'il will bring a she-camel made out of light, which will have a rein made out of humid pearls. He will bring it to you, and you will ascend it. Then he will lead you, he will grab the rein of that she-camel, and he will drag it forward. And 70,000 angels alayhimus salam will be in front of you, O Fatima, and they'll be holding flags. These flags will be the flags of tasbih, which possibly means that the flags will have the word Subhanallah written on them. Then what happens, Ya Rasulullah? He says, then as you are moving forward, 70,000 hur al-ayn, 70,000 huris will come and welcome you, O Fatima. These huris will have crowns that are beautified with gems or precious stones, beautified with green aquamarine, and they will stand on your right side and they will accompany you. So now you realize that there's this parade or procession that is done on the Day of Judgment for who? For Fatima alZahraa alayhi salam. First, she has 70,000 angels who are in front of her, leading her to heaven. And then you have the 70,000 huris who join her on her right side. Then he says, after you cross the same amount of distance that you had crossed from the point you were resurrected until you met the 70,000 huris, Maryam alayha salam, Maryam bint Imran will welcome you. And she will have with her 70,000 huris as well. She will salute you with salam, and then she will stand on your left side. Now you have the mistress of the women of the worlds, and the mistress of the women of the worlds during her time, Maryam, who are moving together towards heaven. He says, as you're moving, after this incident, your mother Khadija bint Khuwaylid alayha salam, the first female believer who announced her belief in Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, will welcome you, and she will have with her 70,000 angels who will be carrying the flags of takbir. Possibly meaning the flags will have the statement Allahu Akbar written on them. Then, when you get closer to the gathering, which gathering? The gathering where people are gathered, al-mahshar. When you get closer, Hawa alayha salam, the mother of mankind, Hawa alayha salam welcomes you with 70,000 huris, and she will have Asya bint Muzahim with her. Asya was one of the greatest ladies, and Hawa as well was one of the greatest ladies in the history of mankind. So here you see that the procession or the parade is getting bigger and bigger. For who? For Fatima alZahraa alayha salatu wassalam. Allah Ta'ala purposely sends Fatima alayha salam, these great women who are accompanied by thousands of hur al-ayn or thousands of angels, to show the world that Fatima is not an ordinary mu'mina to be sent to heaven with one angel or one huriyah. No, there must be a huge parade done for the Lady of Light to reveal her impeccable status on that day. Then what happens, Ya Rasulullah? He says, sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, then, Ya Fatima, when you penetrate through the crowd and you reach the midst of the crowd, there will be a call. And that caller will say, as he addresses the creations, lower your gaze. Lower your gaze, because Fatima wants to cross with those who are with her. Fatima as-Siddiqa, the veracious lady, the daughter of Muhammad, wants to cross with those who are with her. And so the Prophet says, on that day, no one will gaze at you save Ibrahim alayhi salam, who happens to be her ancestor, and Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, who happens to be her husband. The Prophet says, sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, then ya Fatima, a pulpit made out of light will be upheld for you. And that pulpit will have 7 steps. Between each 2 steps there will be lines of angels. And on the right and left sides of the pulpit, the Hur al-Ain will be standing or sitting in lines. You will ascend it. And once you reach the top of the pulpit, Jibreel alayhi salam will come to you and will tell you, O Fatima, ask what you need. What do you want? Meaning, whatever you want will be fulfilled today. So she will say, you will say, Ya Fatima, I want to see, my Lord, I want to see Al-Hasan wal-Husayn. She addresses Allah Ta'ala. My Lord, show me Al-Hasan wal-Husayn alayhim as-salam. He tells her at that point, you will see them. And the tradition mentions something that's quite tragic, which I don't want to mention right now, because we are celebrating her birth anniversary, alayhi salam. Then he says, Jibreel will tell you again, Ya Fatima, what is your need? And you will say the following. Listen carefully. You will say, my Lord, my Shi'as. Meaning, I want my Shi'as with me. I want you to forgive them. I want to enter heaven with them. Allah will tell her, Allah will say, certainly I have forgiven them. She will say, my Lord, the Shi'as of my progeny. So Allah will say, I have certainly forgiven them. She will say, my Lord, the Shi'as of my Shi'as. I want them too. The Shi'as of my Shi'as. So Allah Ta'ala will say, He will say, انطلقي فمن اعتصم بك فهو معك في الجنة. Go forth, O Fatima. Anyone who held on to you, meaning in ad-dunya, will be with you in heaven. You know what the Prophet says at that point? The Prophet says the following. If you come out today with only this statement, it will be more than enough. This is your prize for tonight. This is your gift for tonight. He says at that point, the creations will wish that they had been Fatimiyin. The creations will wish that they had been what? Fatimiyin. Being a Fatimi means what? It means you're part of the followers of Fatima al-Zahraa alayhi salam. You're one of those people who adheres to Fatima al-Zahraa. You're one of the people who created a link between you and the Lady of Light, salawatullah wa salamuhu alayha. They will wish, if only we were Fatimiyin, because they know, they understand that had they been Fatimiyin, they would have been saved by alZahraa, salawatullah wa salamuhu alayha. The Prophet says, at that point you will move forward with your Shi'as, the Shi'as of the Commander of the Faithful, and the Shi'as of your progeny. Before we continue, a question comes to mind, which is, what is meant by the Shi'as? The Shi'as of my progeny. The Shi'as of my Shi'as. What does she mean, alayhi salam? Possibly she means, when she says my Shi'as, the Shi'as who were living in her era. When she says the Shi'as of my progeny, she is referring to the Shi'as who lived during the days of the other Imams, the 11 Imams alayhimus salam. And when she says the Shi'as of my Shi'as, she's referring, insha'Allah ta'ala, to the likes of you and me, insha'Allah. Those who live during the occultation of the Imam, Sahib al-Zaman, and live after his reappearance, Ajjalallahu Faraja, because we have come after who? After the generations of Muslimin who actually had the honor of meeting the apparent Imams, Salamullahi alayhim. So he says, you'll move with them towards heaven. Then what happens, Ya Rasulullah? Sallallahu alayhi wa. He says, the Shi'as will be in a state of peace. They will be safe. Whilst people are what? Whilst people are afraid. Their thirst will be quenched when people will be thirsty. What else happens, Ya Rasulullah? He says, when you approach the gate of heaven, 12,000 hur al-ain will welcome you, Ya Fatima. They welcome Fatima into heaven. These huris will not have welcomed anyone before you and will not welcome anyone after you. And once you enter heaven, the people of heaven, meaning those who are already in heaven, like who? Like al-hur al-ain, or the servants, al-wildan al-mukhalladun, they will give glad tidings to each other, saying that Fatima alayha salam, alZahraa, has entered heaven. Then your Shi'as will be sitting on dining tables. Dining tables will be brought for the Shi'as, which will be made out of precious stones and will have legs or poles made out of light. They'll be enjoying food in heaven. Listen carefully. Whilst people are in hisab. Imagine that. Human beings are where? They're still in al-mahshar, in that land of the Day of Judgment. And Allah is asking them, why did you do X, Y, and Z? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Whilst the Shi'as of Fatima are where? They're already in heaven. They're having a blast. Why? Because they were emulating. They were real Shi'as. They were emulating the Lady of Light, Fatima. Salawatullah alayha. They were followers of Fatima alZahraa and Ahlul Bayt. Salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhim. If we want to be from those, my brothers and sisters, those people who ultimately enter heaven, those people who enter heaven and enjoy the blessings of heaven before other people enter heaven, whilst people are still in hisab, then believing in Ahlul Bayt is a must. But on top of that, emulating them, following their commands is a must. The more we follow their commands, the closer we'll be to actually being real Shi'as, like Salman, Abu Dharr, and Miqdad, and Ammar bin Yasir, rahmatullah ta'ala alayhim.